What's up guys, it's Tom here and welcome back to a brand new Liverpool related video. And in this video we will talk about what Jurgen Klopp said about Dejan Lovren's fitness situation. Remember that Lovren lied about his fitness just 5 days ago in a club interview, saying that he was fit and ready to go, and then a few days later it came out that he had some stomach issues and really he couldn't play. So we will reveal the extent of that injury and what Jurgen Klopp said about this injury, and also what Karius said about Liverpool signing Alisson. Very interesting interview. There will be lots of information in this video, so stay tuned. And what kind of FIFA 19 videos do you want to see? Leave a comment right now. I'm planning to do some informational videos on all the new features already announced about FIFA 19 and maybe your wish list as well. But first let's get Jurgen Klopp's opinion on Dejan Lovren. And Jurgen Klopp confirmed that Lovren is facing a short spell on the sidelines. The good news is that Lovren will be potentially out for only 2 or 3 weeks. It looks like that maybe the club knew about his injury, maybe they didn't, but Lovren himself said in the interview that Liverpool were unhappy about the situation. So we still don't know whether Lovren told the club during the World Cup that he had this injury problem or not. So Jurgen Klopp said after the West Ham game this about Dejan Lovren. He is not fit. Let me say it like this. Last year he already had a few problems with that, but he could obviously play and played really good. Recovery days were always enough, then it was not a problem, and he was in the next session again. We did not train a lot in the end of the season, of course, because we were more or less constantly playing, but he played constantly. And now in the World Cup 3 times Lovren played for 120 minutes. It got a bit worse, and I'm pretty sure it will settle in the next 1, 2 or 3 weeks. In that time he can probably for sure train already, but not for the full program, so that will then take time. In the end it is a serious but not that serious injury, so it's not that we need to be afraid that it will take him until whatever to recover from his injury. In the moment he's not available, that's true. So this gives some additional information, saying that this complaint, this stomach abdominal injury that Lovren is saying that he's suffering from, this was actually a recurring injury last season which he could recover from, so it wasn't that serious, but probably it got worse during the World Cup. So it looks like that Lovren didn't really need to tell the club about the extent of the injury, because Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool already knew about it. It's a long-term problem, and probably Lovren just needs like 2 or 3 weeks rest, and then hopefully the injury will get better. I'm sure that after Lovren flew to the Netherlands to see a specialist, there will be some kind of treatment for this injury, and I think Jurgen Klopp saying that the maximum 3 weeks time Lovren will be back up and running. And I think it's vital, because even though we only play 1 game every week for the next 3 or 4 weeks, and then there will be an international break, it's vital that Lovren gets back fit, because Liverpool only have Joe Gomez and Van Dijk at the moment, 2 fit centre backs, plus youngster Matt Phillips. So it's vital that Lovren gets back fit, because I think apart from Van Dijk, Lovren is probably our best centre back at the club right now. By the way, I was really impressed with both Van Dijk and Joe Gomez against West Ham. I think they did really well. And now on to even more interesting news. Karius admitted that nobody at Liverpool told him that we are signing Alisson, which I would love to hear your opinion on that. I'm not sure. I don't think the club has to inform players about signing a goalkeeper, but I think signing Alisson probably upsets Karius a lot, because I think he was in a very interesting, space after the Champions League final. Lots of people criticizing him, but also lots of Liverpool fans showing support. And actually, when Karius came on as a substitute against Torino at Anfield in the last preseason game, he had a huge ovation from the Anfield crowd, which I applaud the Liverpool fans for. That's how you show support for a player who made a couple of horrendous mistakes in the Champions League. So Karius said that nobody spoke to me beforehand at Liverpool about the Alisson signing. Of course, that's not ideal for me, but at the moment I cannot say much more about that. So maybe Karius is looking to leave Liverpool, and Besiktas is linked with Karius heavily today and yesterday in the newspapers. So it looks like that Besiktas are interested in signing Karius. And I'm still a little bit torn about which goalkeeper should we keep. Because Karius is probably a better goalkeeper than Mignolet, but selling Karius right now, he has almost zero value. And I'm maybe leaning more towards keeping Karius and letting Mignolet go. Mignolet is a goalkeeper which we could sell still to a foreign club, because in other countries the transfer window lasts for more than 2 more weeks, and Fenerbahce and Barcelona are interested in taking Simon Mignolet. Some Liverpool legends like John Aldridge has a different opinion. He said that Karius unfortunately is still a problem, simply because his head is all over the place, and if something happened to Alisson, God forbid, then we will struggle big time. I hope he can put it all behind him, Karius, the Champions League final and the mistakes, but I very much doubt it. Let's trust Jurgen Klopp on this. So this is a good point made by John Aldridge. If we stick with Karius and sell Mignolet, and God forbid, I don't want this scenario to happen, but you have to prepare for everything in football to happen. It's a crazy world. And what if Alisson gets a serious injury and he will be out for like 4 months? Then we would be stuck with Karius as our first choice goalkeeper, and that could cost us potentially the Premier League title or potentially very, very important points. So I'm not sure what Liverpool should do with this. On the other hand, I can understand why Mignolet wants to leave. He's almost 30 years old, he needs to play, and he's not even on the bench right now. Karius was on the bench against West Ham United. I really hope that we just make the right decision. I trust Jurgen Klopp fully, who actually made some very, very good points after the West Ham game. He said about the West Ham game, a very good start for sure. Yes, it's a start, perfect as well, because we won the game. For us it was not perfect, but really good. Nobody knows exactly how well you did or how worthy your preseason is. Always you see things in preseason against different opponents in different moments. But now the Premier League is a proper fight, and immediately today that's the biggest change. And then you hope as a manager that your team is ready for that, because you cannot test it before you have the test. For that, the start was good. After being 1-0 up, maybe we didn't have exactly the same dominance, we felt the intensity. We didn't have that in the preseason really, because after 60 minutes you change the team, other players come in, and I honestly felt that for the first game, it was almost the perfect game. Yes, there were a couple of hairy moments defensively, but West Ham are a very good team, and considering that, Liverpool are not at 100% peak fitness yet, to dominate West Ham United like that, West Ham United looked very disjointed, but they have some really, really good players. They spent big money on a team that already was pretty good, and we pretty much nullified them with our defense. And attacking wise, Naby Keita, Milner, Wijnaldum in midfield really dominated the West Ham midfield, and up front Mane, Salah and Firmino run them ragged. We had 18 shots to West Ham's 5, we had 8 shots on target, West Ham only had 2 shots on target, and Alisson saved both pretty comfortably. So Jurgen Klopp says this, that's no problem, changing after 60 minutes in pre-season. When you feel something after about 30 or 25 minutes, then it's not too long to go. But when you want to go the whole game, that's all different. You saw we were not as compact anymore in that period where Arnautovic had the chance and they had a few set pieces. He's referring to the second half, the beginning of the second half, maybe the first like 15-20 minutes after Sadio Mane scored. I think Liverpool could relax a little bit, because at 3-0 the game was probably over. They were obviously taller than us today, Jurgen Klopp said this, so that was a little bit tricky with the wind also. Then we scored in the perfect moment before half time, and all absolutely perfect. Then we scored the third one and the fourth one when Denia was kind of 8 seconds on the pinch. That was really cool. So result good, performance good, let's carry on. But Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp didn't want to get carried away with the result and the performance. He said for the first week it's good, but nothing else. So he's saying that Liverpool have to stay firmly on the ground because there will be a lot more challenging games in the Premier League. And yes, it's a perfect start, but it's nothing more than that. Jurgen Klopp is right. It's only 3 points on the board, and we have to keep very, very consistent performances up for the whole season. Because we are up against a team, Manchester City, who have a world-class player in every single position, plus they have world-class players on the bench. I mean, they steamrolled Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium, having players like Gabriel Jesus, Leroy Sané, Kevin De Bruyne, David Silva, not even starting the game. It just shows what you are up against. And I think we should be aiming to finish in the top 2 this season and just try to remain as close to Manchester City as possible for as long as possible. What I also want is for other teams to be not afraid of Manchester City. Liverpool in the whole Premier League are probably the only team who are not afraid to play Manchester City. We have beaten them 3 times last season, twice in the Champions League, once in the Premier League. Twice, Man City lost very, very few games the whole season. And I really, really want the other teams, even the smaller teams, to just say, let's just go for it. Because Man City, if you just sit back and park the bus, they will steamroll you in the 90 minutes. On the other hand, if you can, maybe attack them a little bit and get into their faces, you can beat them if you have a perfect day. But if you don't even try, then forget about it. I can understand why smaller teams don't want to, attack against Manchester City, because goal difference could be vital for them if they stay up or get relegated. And if you really open up against Manchester City, you can concede 5, 6, 7 goals on any given day. They are that good. But in my opinion, what the smaller teams should do is just try to surprise Manchester City by attacking them in the first 15-20 minutes, but not with all the players, just maybe with the front players, just to press them a little bit and then see what happens. But of course, it's just wishful thinking, because who am I kidding? I'm sure that most teams in the bottom half of the Premier League will just park the bus against teams like Manchester City and Liverpool and hope to nick a goal from a set piece or something like that. And Jurgen Klopp was very impressed by the Naby Keita performance, me included, and many other fans and pundits around the world were very impressed with Naby Keita. I think he's a game changer in our team. So Jurgen Klopp said about that, absolutely a good performance from Naby. After 6 weeks in, I don't make the difference between a new player and another player, because for me it is exactly similar importance that Milner and Gini Wijnaldum are ready to make the next step in their development as well. So Naby is in because he's a really good footballer. I have said it from the beginning that he's obviously settled really quick and has a similar style of play in a similar position as he did at Leipzig. He can play different positions, of course, but I think number 8 is his best in the moment, so that's all cool. He has a lot of help from the players around. Sadio works really hard, the same with Gini and Milner and Robertson in this case, so that's really good. I'm pleased, absolutely. Actually, that's what we expected. And to see, Mane going off in the second half and Naby Keita pushing in the Mane position in the left wing was absolutely amazing. Naby Keita is such a versatile footballer. He could virtually play anywhere in midfield or attack. He can play a defensive midfielder, he can play right centre mid, left centre mid, he can play attacking centre mid just behind the striker, he can play left winger, he can even play right winger, and he could even play as a false number 9 if he wanted to, because he has the athleticism, the pace, the agility, the dribbling skills. He can shoot, he can score, he can pass, he can tackle. just incredible. I checked his stats for the last 2 Bundesliga seasons, and in every single attribute he was in the top 10 midfielders in the Bundesliga. So like through balls, key passes, tackles, dribbles, take-ons, if you name it, in every single category he was in the top 10 in the Bundesliga. And I expect Naby Keita to be one of the best midfielders in the Premier League this season, and also one of the best signings of the season, just like Mo Salah was last season. Do I think after the West Ham game that Liverpool are ready to win the Premier League? There wasn't a team like Manchester City, who are almost a perfect team. I mean, they broke all kinds of records last season, collecting 100 points. Then I would say yes, Liverpool are ready to win the Premier League. But because this Man City team could potentially turn into the best team in the Premier League history, that's the only problem for Liverpool. Because if this Liverpool team played like 4 seasons ago or 5 seasons ago, I would be confident of Liverpool winning the league, because I think Liverpool can get to 85, maybe even 90 points if we get lucky and if injuries evade us. But if Man City get to 95 points, then Liverpool won't have a chance. That's just my opinion, but let me know what is your opinion. Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. See you later, guys. Goodbye.